Beep.
Greetings. This is the cosmic forecast for December 1st through the 8th, 2017. Now, looking at the sky today, we see this big moon, if it's not cloudy where you live. And the big moon is in the western sign of Taurus. And so, I imagine, though, it's, getting towards that, the nakshatra of Kritika, which is kind of like a little bit Aries, mostly Taurus, in Vedic astrology, ruled by the sun. So there's and Venus in Western astrology goes into Sagittarius. So it's kind of like this day of change. We feel this momentum happening. Tomorrow, we have Mercury going retrograde at 11:34 p.m. So Mercury's getting ready to go to retrograde, folks. I know, right? And it doesn't go direct till after winter solstice on the 22nd, under the Ursid's meteor sky. So, still like that dark day. It's in Yule, and let's see what other goodies we have. Besides Venus in Sagittarius, Mercury going retrograde. Mars is going into Scorpio next weekend, so we still have the last weekend of Mars in Libra, and then we have a full moon as well on Sunday morning at 7:47 a.m. Wow, what a sunrise! And so we'll have this full moon in the constellation of Taurus in the the zodiac sign of Gemini, in the Vedic nakshatra of Rohini. And so Rohini is the red star and is the shining jewel and is where we see so much beauty. Because you've got the constellation of Taurus, which is Venus rule. And Rohini is ruled by the moon. And it also rules like carts and cars. I think it's Brahma is the ruling deity. I'm still kind of I didn't memorize it that well, I guess. So the cart is one of the symbols. I always think of this as I've noticed a lot of people with sun, moon, or rising sign in Rohini really drive nice cars. They own cool vehicles, and I'm sure, everybody wants to make a little extra capital during the holidays, and, I'm sure there'll be all kinds of car deals with this full moon. And, let's see, what else can I say about it? And it's just, there's just this incredible association of beauty and grace and all things feminine. Or I can go to the Western Gemini moon. Oh, it's a lively moon where other people show their other side. And that side should be feminine beauty and grace. And yeah, so it seems like a really, overall, a super fun weekend. And, eventually we're going to have Hanukkah this week. I imagine that starts on the night of the 12th, and there should be the Gemini's meteor shower then too. So, for people celebrating Hanukkah, yes, happy Hanukkah from me to you, who now knows that he's got Jewish DNA too. So, oh my gosh, is there such a thing? Let's see. Well, it couldn't hurt. Oh boy. It's be a mensch, Kev. Do this right. I'm okay. Gotcha. Alright, so Aries, I haven't talked about Uranus in your first house a lot much, lately. I mean, it's in that latter part. So those of you who are born between the 14th and 20th of April, who are Aries suns, you are feeling this more restlessness and excitement and maybe even inspiration, but sudden things, sudden changes have happened that have in some ways energized you. and might have even energized the groups of people around you. You know, it seems like that to some extent. So you're in touch with this kind of thing. And I always like to try to caution myself not to be too reactionary. Emotional person, I get heated up sometimes. And I know that it's better to listen twice and think about things. And it's hard to have a good response when you're in an emotional place. And if you're angry, I guess it lowers your IQ. That really bites. So. Anyhow, back to you, Aries. You've got Mars almost in your 8th house. You know, it's the end of the 7th house. So, you know, sometimes that's like the, you know, we talked about the open enemies thing, people confronting you on stuff, and you wanting to know more. And it's also like it could make your partner actually more of a sweetheart, like the most diplomatic confrontation you've ever had before. You know, it's another way. One of my gurus, one of my teachers, put Mars in the 7th that way, and I was like, everybody just kind of like shook their head and go, "What is? Are you kidding?" I was like, "Okay," you know. And let's see, we've got Mercury and Saturn still together. You know, Mercury being retrograde. It's like, just don't make any sudden plans. Roll with what's in front of you and be really conscious about it. That's the deal. And be open to new discoveries. I really think, you know, like the Mula Nakshatra is really like the call to meditation. It's like, okay, you know, we've done all this materialistic stuff. Let's go deep. Let's move towards healing. Let's move towards alleviating suffering, because we know, you know, the impermanence, you know, so many things. Okay. And, you know, Venus is in a good place for you. It's a place to be giving. It's a place to be loving. Full moon brings fun in the neighborhood. Okay. Good enough. All right. Hello, Taurus. Welcome to your horoscope. So moon's in your 1st house now till Saturday afternoon. And moon in Taurus is a good place to be. So it should be happy, especially that Venus. I think it'll be like a double Venus ruled Friday night. So, you know, there is this cool momentum going on this weekend. You know, it culminates in this, I suppose, after the party brunch. You know, and you're, you know, there's things that are out of your control, but there's things that are still really good for you. And you've been able to build up a certain amount of stamina, that you've been able to heal up, you've been able to organize yourself a little bit better. So this is also improving your world, and in a good way. So we're happy about that. Well, hello, Gemini, and welcome to your horoscope. Whoop, 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 whoop. That's the fun part when this happens. So yeah, full moon in Gemini in Western astrology. You know, Saturday night, you know, you'll be feeling it big. It'll be growing. I mean, Sunday night, it'll be still active from what went down, but it won't be, you know, it won't be the momentum moon, you know. And so we still have like momentum Friday and Saturday, you know, and after that it's like things kind of play themselves out till the next new moon, and that's when it's a good time to make the new plans, you know. And then, so this new moon, before the full moon, started in Vishaka, you know, which is like expansive. At the very tail end, it was really, you know, in the Scorpio part, which is a lot more, you know, more, maybe a little more tumultuous and stuff. But it's Jupiter ruled. So there's been this choice to go towards the spiritual lately, and I really like this. I'm feeling this vibe really strong, and we're looking at that as in any event helping you health-wise and helping you career-wise, and that stuff looks good. Relationships are taking more center stage now that Venus has moved into your 7th house. In fact, you're more of a sweetheart this full moon. You're going to be extra alluring, and you have to be very careful about you. Okay. Because, right? I know there's some of you that are blaming on your evil twin, but we all know that karma is karma. And so, I have a lot of compassion, because you don't want to hurt the one you love. So, relationships are where it's at. I know you're going to be speaking some deep truths, but you're also going to be able to temper it now with Venus's help, and I think you'll be okay. My husband thing, as famous Phyllis Diller would say, right? Okay. Greetings, Cancer. Welcome to your horoscope. All right. So, I think you'll like Friday night. I think that'll be good. Saturday night's probably going to be more intense. I'd almost say, stay home, meditate, try and get a good night's sleep. That's really important. Let yourself rest. Let yourself come down. Good sleep is super valuable. Runs your day. So once we get, though, later in the week, we're going to have a moon in Cancer, and so that happens on the 4th and the 5th, and even the morning of the 6th, just till the lunch hour. So, on these days will be really productive. There'll be some nice Jupiter aspects. You'll be feeling pretty good. And but otherwise, it's like you got to pace yourself because you got a lot of work in front of you because of all that 6th house activity. And a lot of people break down with colds and flus, so you have to wash your hands a lot. But really, just especially maintain a really healthy diet. So even if you catch a little of something, it's not going to take you down the whole 9 yards like it will other people. Okay. Well, hello, Leo, and welcome to your horoscope. Okay, so the deal with Sagittarius time for you is it's mostly a lot of fun. But since we have Saturn there, there has been this element of seriousness the last couple of years, and it's just like, oh my gosh, how can I open up my heart? How can I move on to better things? And the movement is, I think we have to just go deep. We have to go to source. We can't just neglect our spiritual life and think everything's okay. And we can't just rationalize it away either, because I think you're going to miss out on a lot of the Ananda. You're going to miss out on a lot of the bliss, and I don't want that to happen. I think this full moon's going to be good for you, though. I really do. And since a lot of you are just Vedic Cancers anyhow, you're a lot more lunar ruled than a lot of you, are always conscious of. And this is social moon, and there's going to be beautiful people, Rohini people are beautiful, and men are handsome, too. But once again, we're talking like those feminine qualities, it's just like beautiful, one of the things like the beautiful bodies and a very nice, graceful presence. That's our Rohini, and very sought after. Even the Rohinis, I've not necessarily see them as attractive. I might not be attracted to them, but, I've seen, they just have so many men are after them, and it becomes wild. And I think the men that are Rohini too, man, they can be like the players, they're out there. And so, with that said, I think taking care of family, parents, kids, that's a big theme for Leo. And, you have that desire that sometimes it could get to almost like the ends justify the means. And you got to be careful with that type of thing, because, there's always consequences with that. And, and it's all, sometimes we just call blessings on us. They're blessings, but they're really disguised as lessons. And sometimes there's pain in them, And so anyhow, let's go to Virgo. Virgo, greetings, welcome to your horoscope. Mercury's going retrograde, okay? That's happening Saturday night, and you know the drill. And I think for you, it's mostly just write things down, because this is like a memory house, Sagittarius, 4th house for you. So, really keeping good records, what's going on, keeping a journal even, honoring your parents, elders you live with, people that you consider your tribe. More important to honor them right now. Of course, always pay attention to all kind of communication, and keep working on your art and writings and music and things that make you feel good too, because there needs to be a balance in that area as well. And we're going to have the moon actually will be in Virgo by next Friday afternoon, so that'll be, kind of hang in there this week, just kind of let things go and just keep on your spiritual focus of improvement, and you'll make it, because I believe in you. Okay. Hello, Libra, and welcome your horoscope. Well. So, financially, things are kind of in family world, they're kind of expanding. So it's kind of also what I call like an expansion of your values. Now Venus moves into the third house, so it's a little more flirty. It's a little more adolescent. It's also creative and experimental because it's curious. And we're trying to get some information. And I'd like to have some information about you. I would like to know what you're like. I don't know, I don't know if I want to know what everybody's like, though. Well, everyone is beautiful in every way, and everyone deserves love, and, they don't necessarily deserve it from me, or neither do I. Oh my gosh. Okay, so, things can be crazy in the relationship world with Uranus in the 7th house. Sagittarius in the 3rd house, I think, is a lot about curiosity. And the 3rd house is also a place where you find courage, and since this is your last week of your Mars transit in the 1st house. So I'm talking especially you Libras born around the 20th, 21st, 22nd, you're going to really feel more driven and independent and urgent about something this week, and so you just kind of have to watch for that. And I think, Saturn, with Mercury, it's like slowing us all down about what we talk about. It's just like, okay, I really need to listen. This, I just really need to take all this information slow to make sure I'm grasping what's important. Yeah. So, that's a good thing too. Okay. Moving on. Yes, indeed. Scorpio. So, this is the last week Mars is going to be in the 12th house, but it's already kind of like knocking on the door of the 1st. And it's like, there's this feeling like, okay, I've got to do something. I've got to make these next couple of months really count. What's my game plan? How am I going to go about this? And sometimes creative process requires a slowdown. Now, Sagittarius time is mostly about your values. It's a good time for you to make money, extra money on the side or whatever. It's there for you. The universe is going to, it's kind of mundane, but it's there for you. Especially with Jupiter in your 1st house this year. It's like, do not give up. And I think when you're a good student, it's like, this is what I tell you about Jupiter. Honor your teachers. Honor anyone who's ever taught you something this year, especially on a Thursday. Especially on a Thursday. Give them some gold flowers. I mean, that's just like one simple thing, or even bananas. It will elevate the effects of Jupiter's blessing on you this year. And that's the truth. And so the guru is like a protector. And that is the message, really. And in your values and in your speech, try to be more uplifting, try to be more clean, try to get out of the gutter and get into the light, because you can bring it like no one else can. All right. So Sagittarius, hello. It is your time of year. You are the flavor of the month, right? We would say that. Of course we... Sometimes you just have to take things higher, right? What, Sagittarius? Okay, so. Alright. So the sun's getting used to being in its, first house. Just almost out of that first decan in the second decan. We're getting deep into Sagittarius territory, in Western astrology terms. So, philosophically free, visionary, generous, happy, joyful, educated, sometimes skipping steps, being opportunistic, sometimes sarcastic, or attempting to be funny. These are all qualities. Some are lesser, some are more, but they're about us, and we're working with this. We're trying to make this go. We've got Venus in the first house. Hey, we look hot. We Sagittarians out there. I mean, I consider myself to be every sign in the zodiac. Because we have every single rishi in our charts. We have every single sign of the zodiac is in our charts. Every single nakshatra is in our charts. However, we don't always have a planet in that house or placement grabbing onto these things, and that's why they call them the grahas. They are grabbers. And once you understand planets like that, you start seeing astrology as a much more living, practical tool that's going to give you something. And so that's why I just felt like you should know this, Sagittarius. Saturn and Mercury. It's time to be from a place of wisdom versus just frivolousness. But it's good to have a sense of humor, too. I think the Dalai Lama is really good on that one for you. All right. Well, hello, Capricorn, and welcome to your horoscope. Okay, so, like I said last week, the 12th house, we got to kind of answer to our karma. And it's not always fun, and it's not always pleasant. Because some things in our life demand change. And sometimes it's hard it's like when you're at the top of the roller coaster and you're kind of scared of heights a little bit, and you're just like going, oh my God, here it comes, and I'm like holding on for dear life. There's a little bit of that feeling like you're still being cranked up, and you're like, okay, yeah, I can do this, And there is this other feeling, though, too, is that, how honest and how deep are you in your love? Are there things hidden, And yeah, I mean, sure, people have secret affairs, partly because it's like fun to escape, And often we get in a position where life is really unpleasant, and that's one way certain of us will do as a coping mechanism. So, but if you can go through the pain, you're going to do a little bit better, they say. Just go right through it. And that is probably for sure. And, but we're humans, and I have a lot of compassion for what you're going through, whatever it is. And for Aquarius, greetings Aquarius, it's all about relationships right now. And so allow yourself to be compassionate towards your partner. And because there's like a spiritual connection there, and you have a lot of social life, social things going, and deeper conversations, and it's kind of knocking on that 12th house. The Saturn and the Mercury kind of knocking on that 12th house door of like secrets and deep mysticism, and taking you away to an exotic place you don't know where you're at quite yet. And so it's just important to understand that, and you probably will have some intelligent revelations even while Mercury's in retro. And it's still a time for you to have better career choices and experiences. And you're going to be looking, new opportunities are coming up for you. So I'm loving that. Okay. Pisces, welcome to your horoscope. This is the deal. None of us are able to run everything forever. And, but, when we plan for longevity and we're excited about what we're doing and we respect our health and do create nurturing relationships, we start transmitting more life. We start extending our situation in spite of the sadness, because that's something everyone goes to. And if we start changing our attitude towards our sadness and grief is like, well, this is actually a real gift to me. You actually are able to relate to other human beings deeper because they're finding out they're going through that, and that, you know, we're not alone in this process. And I see you as becoming this amazing leader because of your talent through empathy. Empathizing with other human beings puts you in this awesome place where you'll say the right thing at the right time. And you'll show that you are really mature. And a lot of things you've been anxious about, just chill. They're going to like work themselves out. It's already been done. It's like God's heard your prayer or something. So, and that's really it. And I think that's all you needed to know. And thanks for being with me this week. Enjoy the full moon. Happy Hanukkah, happy holidays. I will be with you next week. We're going to do this again. Planetary Persuader.